When I got to $10,000 in 23 days, I remember looking at my board and kind of just like freezing because I was like, wait, this actually happened. Like, I asked and I shall receive. Now let me take you even deeper. What's up, y'all? It's your girl Anjay Monet. I have decided that I really wanted to start doing YouTube for real, so I have to make it my responsibility to prop up this camera and get to it. I know that I have been wanting to do this video for so long, and I actually recorded a video of me sharing my testimony, but I don't know, so much has happened from that point, so much has happened from that time that I kind of feel like we need a new one. I never even shared it though. How do I even start? Like, guys, I'm honestly going to be sharing like points of my testimony over time. Like, there's so many different points of this year that I didn't even realize what God was doing until now. So honestly, let's start January 2024. January 2024, I was completely broke. I had no money in my bank account. I had no clients, nothing. Like, I was literally trying to figure out what my life was going to be like. At the time, I was 23 years old, and I was just getting to a point where I was willing to make the sacrifice of my comfort to become what I needed, because at that point I had nothing to lose. I also felt like I didn't have anything to gain, and I was really looking for what was going to put me in the best financial place. I said, where can I go and come up real quick so I can live the life that I just know I'm destined to live? And I started to explore the options of so many different things. I was like, you know, let me get into real estate. You know, the girls in the real estate, they run up a Birkin. And I even started to entertain the idea of doing like event coordinating or event decorating and stuff like that. Like, just anything that I felt where the money was. What can I do that's easy, that can give me the same type of time? I can create my own schedule and run up a bag. I was looking for absolutely anything to get me from behind the chair, because I honestly hated it. Like, I hated doing hair, such because I felt like I wasn't as good at it, and it was frustrating to me that I'm like doing something that I'm not that good at. And I didn't realize that was the reason why I felt like that. Originally, I just thought I didn't like the whole concept of like coming into work early or dealing with people all the time and all the different complications that comes with doing hair. But I realized that a big part of me not liking to do hair had everything to do with me not liking what I was doing. It wasn't hair itself, it just was those specific things that I wasn't fond of. So January, I just had this real moment, and I remember sitting in the car and I just was talking to God. Like, you know, I talk to God like he's right next to me, like, because he is, like, in my mind, but no, in my reality too, like, he's with me all the time. So like, I'll have conversations with him like I'm having a conversation with you, and I was just talking to him, venting to him even, and I was just like, I need another stream of income. That's exactly what I said. I said, God, like, I feel like your grace has guided me to this point. Because I honestly felt like at the time I was like rotating through the same like $500. I felt some way, somehow $5 would come out, and I will always just have enough for just that type of reality. And I was like, I feel like your grace is what's keeping me like up, you know, it's keeping my bills paid, it's keeping my maintenance done. Like, everything that I'm experiencing right now is because of your grace, not because of my work, not because of my effort, not because of my position, not because of my popularity, not because of my skill. I really just felt like everything was because of his grace. Like, he was gracefully letting me go through life without drowning. Like, but I wasn't too far from it, but it never felt like I was drowning because I knew God was there and I knew he had my back, right? But realistically, it was really hard being in that space for so long. And I prayed, I said, like, you know, God, I need another stream of income, and like, I want to be able to do something that is of my hands. Like, not to say that I don't want your blessings or I don't want your grace or I don't want your favor, but I want to be able to do something and like, I know that if I do X, I get Z. You know what I mean? Like, I know that if I do this, I get that. And it's not just a matter of these sporadic things that are just coming abruptly in my life, but like, I'm aware that if I go hard really here and I focus here, that this is what's going to be our response. So that was me in January 2024. And February 2024, I was introduced to digital marketing, which I know a lot of y'all were introduced to digital marketing around that time. And if you missed out on that wave, girl, I don't know what to tell you, girl. But to tell you, when I tell you I made bread. And it was so random because, so my mom was looking for this course. She was like, oh, she was just watching people like resell this course. She was like, what is this? Like, she was just so interested into really understanding what the course was about and then what you were able to get from the course, like how you were able to be profitable from the course. It's like, you know, just listening to her talk about this for about 2 weeks. So I remember around the time that I started to have that conversation with myself, as well as having that conversation with God, that's when she was like looking for this course. She was looking for this specific thing. And I didn't know what she was talking about, because I'm like, you're talking about a course and I don't even understand what, like, how am I making money from the course? From the information? Like, yeah, I'm supposed to like implement the information, like what's going on? She kept saying like, no, the girls are selling the course, they're selling the course. I was like, okay. So she was on this hunt. She was on this hunt. On behold, she ended up finding the course, and she found somebody who was doing really, really well from reselling the course. So the course has something called MRR, which stands for Master Resale Rights, which gives you the rights to resell the course for the price that you got it for or more. So she got her hands on the course, but right before she got her hands on the course, she got into TikTok Live. My mom was on TikTok Live doing ministry. She would do Bible study, basically like every single day, and started to build a community on TikTok Live. And they were like looking for her and supporting her and just like listening to her preach the good news of Jesus Christ. And I was so inspired to see her doing it, because my mom gets on live all the time, but this was so different because I felt like there was so much genuineness in this, and there were so many people who were really like attentive, like they were really like desiring her, and they were really growing together. And I was just watching her just preach the good news of Jesus Christ and knowing that she was doing the work of the Lord. It was so inspiring to me. I was like, I really want to do something like that. Like, you know, I really kind of want to have a platform where I can just like go and talk about the goodness of God and like have people with me like talking about it in unison, and we're all just like singing in unison. It was just awesome. But at the same time, my mother is a businesswoman. So once she got this information, like when she got her hands on the course, she went on TikTok Live and, you know, she talked about, you know, the course and stuff like that, because a lot of the people who were on her TikTok Live were also businesswomen and men as well. And they thought the idea was like genius, which it is. And I remember my mama made $10,000 in 72 hours. Now, I was a little taken back because I'm like, whoa, like that was very, very fast from something that I still don't fully understand. But now I'm very, very interested because what's going on? Like, what are we talking about? I don't even think this was February. I actually think this was the end of January, because I actually was on a cabin trip at the time when she called me and told me about this. And I remember when I was like, okay, when I get back home, I'm finna do the same thing. But y'all, when I got back home, I was so like nervous. Like, I felt like the reason why that happened for her was because she was just like in the will of God, and like the favor of the Lord was just over her at the time. I was like, she was just doing so much, you know, doing so well within TikTok. I'm like, you know, is this actually gonna work for me? You know, is this gonna be my reality? Like, I don't really know. And I asked, I was like, well, what do I do? Because I don't have this community. I don't have this audience where I can go and present something to them where they're gonna be like, oh yes, I gotta have it. Like, I don't have that. So what do I do? I actually went through the course and I set up something called a faceless account. And my faceless account was an account where you didn't know who it was, like behind the scenes. It was like this like account where kind of like the shade room. Like, you don't know who runs the shade room. You just know the shade room for what the shade room has to offer. So my business was a digital product business where I help you start a digital product business. So I started doing faceless and I loved it. I loved this whole like exclusivity. I don't have to be I don't have to show up. I don't have to make the content or like record the content, I ended up hopping on TikTok Live too, and I was just getting on TikTok Live to just like document my journey. I was like, yeah, like, you know, I just got into doing this. Like, I just kind of want to take you guys along this journey with me. And at the time, I think I had like 2,000 followers on my TikTok, and people would just hop on my live. They would sit with me and I would just chat about it. And so many people were interested. Like, so many people were interested in this freaking course that I made $10,000 in 23 days. Now, let me tell you why that's so bizarre. Because right before I got into digital marketing of 2024, and I'm going to just kind of show y'all what this looks like right there. Don't do too much. Don't try to zoom in on my stuff and take my stuff. But I actually still have it written up there, and it's a number right now. Like right now I'm looking at 10K. Because that's how much money I felt like I needed to do what I needed to do. When I got to $10,000 in 23 days, I remember looking at my board and kind of just like freezing, because I was like, wait, this actually happened. Like, I asked and I shall receive. Now let me take you even deeper. I remember the night that I was writing down what I need the money for. I remember God telling me, like, present me a business plan. Literally. Write it down, make it plain, basically. And how much you're gonna need, how much what you're gonna put with for this, how this is gonna work, da 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 da. And I'm just not thinking too much of it, you know what I mean? Like, okay, cool, you know. So when I actually got the $10,000, I was a little taken back because I was like, wait, I don't actually think I'm ready for that. I said, wait, actually, I don't think I felt like all I needed was the money at the time, but actually I needed so much more for this to actually be a thing. So, I mean, I'm looking at it, but I'm like kind of torn. So I didn't do anything with my money. And then at the time, my car wasn't working. My car was literally at Mercedes-Benz. And I was like, I need a new car. I've had my car for a long time. So I was like, do I take this money and get a new car? But I was like, I don't want to create liabilities. Do I take this money and start my new business? But I was like, but my new business isn't really ready to be started. So what do I do? Not realizing that this money was necessary for me because I was still technically in my slow season with being a hairstylist. Like, I needed this to survive, but not only did it allow me to survive, it kept my head far above the water because I had never touched that type of money that fast from my hands. Mind you, that was my prayer, that it would be something of my efforts that would get me to this point. So fast forward, like, I'm so bucked up about digital marketing because I'm like, oh, this is gonna be my new thing. Like, I'm gonna run up the bag with this digital marketing. I'm making, you know, I made $1,400, $1,700, $2,000 in a day. Like, this is what I'm finna do. I'm selling a course that I didn't even make, da da da. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I need to basically shift my entire reality and really focus on this because this is where the money is, and this is gonna stop me from doing hair. No, girl. No. And I realized it was like this random feeling I kept feeling like it was over. It just kind of felt like, done, wraps, you're good, you got what you needed. That's kind of what it felt like. And I was so committed to making this my stream of income. I thought this was going to be my new stream of income because that's what I prayed for, right? Another stream of income. But realistically, right, this wasn't where my grace was. I remember wanting to continue to move forward and promoting my digital product business, and I wasn't really making any money from it anymore. And I remember God saying, like, you're gonna use the information that you learned and implement this into your hair business. That was a game changer for me because I was like, oh, okay. So this 10,000 that I got wasn't a 10,000 because, you know, even what I necessarily wrote down on the wall. It was kind of like a gift. The importance of that season was for me to learn. And it was so incredibly important for me to be in this dry season so that I can focus on understanding digital marketing. Follow me now, because we're going somewhere. So looking back at the situation, I felt as if I was in a slow season, but I was in this learning season. God took and silenced everything around me and allowed me to be so focused on where I needed to be focused on. And that was so necessary. I feel like if I were to have been like really, really busy in the hair salon and doing all this type of stuff, I wouldn't have been able to cater as much time to understanding how to really market myself online, which is so important for where we're going in this testimony, right? We're probably around April-ish, April, May. Digital marketing is slowing down tremendously for me. My mom is still doing really well in her community, but I'm starting to kind of have this epiphany. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, okay, cool. I just touched $10,000 from digital marketing. I don't feel like my grace is there though. Like, I don't feel like this is my next move for real. I feel like it was important for me to be here, but what am I doing? Where am I going? Because I understand that I want the house. I understand I want the car. I understand I want to travel. I understand I want the lifestyle, but what exactly is this going to be? What is it that I'm going to have passion about that's going to lead me to that point? What is it that I can focus on and like get committed to building? What is it that I want to build up and that my name, you know, can be attached to, that's going to create this lifestyle for me? What is it? I kind of sat down and had this real moment with myself. I said, okay, now I'm back into this space of being a hairstylist. Like, I'm kind of back. Now I'm back. This is what I'm doing again, because digital marketing is no longer something that I'm really like touching that much. I kind of had this like realization of like, what do you want to do? That was the first thing that came to my mind. And I remember having this conversation with my mom, and we were just sitting in the bed together, and I was just like, Mom, like, I get it. I get that the goal is to have, you know, this abundance of success. I said, but there's so many ways to get that. I said, if somebody wants to have a nice car, live in a nice apartment, or live a nice lifestyle, they can be a football player, a makeup artist, you know, they can be a travel agent, they can be a flight attendant, they can be a lawyer, like so many different routes to get there. But what is my route? I need to understand where I'm going. I don't want to just get in the car and press something and I don't understand where I'm going, because technically if you don't know where you're going, you're just not going to move, right? So I remember having this conversation with her, and I was just like, no, Mom, I gotta really figure out what is it that I want to do? What is it that I like to do? And it actually started off with what did I like to do. It didn't even start off what I wanted to do, because I had never felt like I had passion for hair ever. As much favor and grace as I've had in this, I was like, this is just something that I'm doing for a little while. I've always looked at hair like a quick little hustle, a quick little, let me get my life started. Because when I graduated high school, I didn't go to college, and all I had was the skill of doing hair and selling hair extensions. That's all I was familiar with. I started selling hair extensions when I was 15 years old. Graduating high school, I kind of took a break off from school. After I graduated, I didn't really do anything for like a whole year. And then now I'm trying to figure this whole life thing out. So I started to do hair. So I always looked at hair like, okay, you're like my first job. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't look at it like, this is what I was going to be. This is what I wanted to become. This is my passion. Like, no, it was never any of that. So at this time, I'm like, well, what do I like to do? You know what I'm saying? Now that I realize that this is where my grace and my favor is, there's something for me here that I just cannot see yet. So what is it that I like to do? In this conversation, I kind of start going through like tallying stuff up. What style do I like to do? Why do I like to do it? And for what reasons does it make me happy? I came to the realization that I like to do flip over sew-ins, right? I said I really like doing flip over sew-ins. I like the breakdown. I like how easy it is. I like that I'm dealing with curly hair. I don't have to do too much with styling. I like the versatility. Like, I just like doing flip over sew-ins. Like, it's so easy for me to do. I don't have to think much about it. You know what I'm saying? It's very repetitive. Like, it's not something that comes with a whole lot of understanding. For instance, if I'm doing a wig install, right? There are some things that are some challenges that I'm being faced with, like maybe the hairline is too low, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe the wig that the person bought me isn't the best quality, or, you know, the type of style that they want with the wig, tone of their skin complexion, like thinking about how to figure all that out. Like, there's so many different components to doing a wig install, just as much as there's a lot of components to just doing a traditional sew-in. Like, if you're a girl who does traditional sew-ins and you like curl the hair, body curls, you have to understand how to cut, how to layer. Some people want color, you know, what type of curling iron to use, what size curling iron to use. There's so much to think about. Whereas some people, it's very natural for them. But for me, it would be very overwhelming when I would sit up there and I'm curling these hairs and I'm curling the hair up and I'm pinning the hair and I drop it and it's all straight. It would blow me. It would make me not want to come into work. This was simple because it's curly hair and I know how to blend curly hair with natural hair really well. For some reason, I just got it like that. I said, Mom, this is what I want to do. She was like, girl, you need to focus on doing some ponytails or something. She was like, ponytails is quick, it's easy, you're in, you're out. And I respected it because I'm like, you know what, that is true, but I don't want to do ponytails. Like, that's not something that I can really see myself becoming anything from or wanting to come into work and do with some ponytails. No. I started doing flip over sew-ins and I loved it so much that I put a claim in my Instagram bio, Atlanta's best flip over sew-ins. Now, I did this when I probably had about 2,000 followers. No, about 3,000 followers on Instagram. Okay, Atlanta's best flip over sew-ins. I said, okay, I'm about to focus on flip over sew-ins. I put flip over sew-ins at the very top of my booking site. Like, I just made everything about flip over sew-ins. I niched all the way down to just a flip over sew-in because I enjoyed it so much. And I said, this is what I'm going to focus on. Not realizing that that's what people were going to actually start to just really book me for. And that's all I was doing anyways. Like, almost every time I came into work, I was doing a flip over sew-in anyway. So it was already something that was a part of my bag. But now I just decided to emphasize it. Like June 2024, y'all, that month was really good for me. And I believe that was the first month that I had someone fly in from California to get their hair done by me, which was a huge deal because I had never seen someone do something like that ever in my entire life. And basically the whole point of her flying in was because she was getting a flip over sew-in, which was crazy because she flew in and flew right back out immediately after. So that now it's kind of putting some like emphasis on my name, because why would somebody be willing to book a flight to come and see me? So I dropped that content, and because I learned so many different things with digital marketing, I'm using those things and implemented them in my hair business because that's what God told me to do. He said, okay, it's time for you to use the same thing that you were doing there here, because this is where your favor is. This is where your grace is. So I started to create my content with more strategy. I started to be far more strategic about what I was doing, more intentional about what I was doing. Nothing was just done like carelessly. Every single thing was either I knew for a fact that this was a good idea or I felt like it was a good idea because of what I already knew. So I started to do that. TikTok was doing really well. My TikTok was doing like 10,000 views, which was a lot for me. Just thousands of views was a lot for me because I was stuck in the 200-300 jail. I was like not able to get past that point. So my TikTok was doing well, and I wasn't really pressed too much about my IG for real because I wasn't really worrying about my IG like that. IG was just doing what IG was doing. My IG numbers were growing, but I was like, yeah, you know, I'm kind of just going to focus on TikTok because TikTok is a lot easier. It's more authentic. The search engine is better, da 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 da. But the whole Atlanta Blessed Flip Over Sewing thing was on my Instagram page. So one day I'm in the car, right? And I actually was in the car waiting for my boyfriend to come out from getting his haircut. And I heard this sound on Instagram. And I was like, let me use this sound. I kind of went to the sound, kind of see like what was going on with it. And I said, okay, cool, bet. And I had a decision on if I wanted to use one person or if I wanted to use another person. I couldn't really figure out if I wanted to do one person or the other. I was like, these both are really good videos. I'm having a really hard time deciding exactly what I want to do. So I decided to do both. I kind of did like clips. It was like the beginning of her video, the beginning of this video, the beginning of that video, da da da. So it was just two videos. I was kind of like playing it at the same time, kind of showing you two different things of the same thing. Do you know that that video has 7 million views right now? Y'all, listen to me. I hit 4,000 followers that day. So my account was growing because I was doing good content, but it was growing at a very normal speed. I had just kind of started to understand this whole content idea. That video blew up insanely. I posted that video on like a Thursday. Do you know by Saturday, I had gained 6,000 followers? I was at 10,000 followers by that Saturday. On Thursday, I had 4,000 followers. On Saturday, I had 10,000 followers. Mind you, my goal was to hit 10,000 followers by the end of this year. The video was going up so fast. Like, the numbers were quadrupling. The comments, the shares, the engagement. It was happening so fast that before you knew it, my phone was blowing up. Everyone's texting my page, DMing me, my business number, like everything is happening with this supernatural speed. But let me tell you the kicker. So this is my Year of the Ride booklet that I got. Anyways, so my tithe prayer, this is written, this is June 30th, 2024, okay? This is my tithe prayer. So in my church, when you pay your tithes, we have a prayer, okay? Our prophet, he prays for us, he gives us prophecies, because of course I go to a prophetic ministry, and he gives us assignments. And I wrote exactly the prayer. The prayer says, "O ye July, 2024, hear the word of the Lord." And he said to ask for 3 things. For the month of July, I asked for an abundance of favor, prosperity over my business, creativity, innovation, and something new. That's the 3 things I asked for. Abundance of favor, prosperity over my business, creativity, innovation, something new. That's what I wrote down. July 2024, my video blows up to 7 million views. I've seen people do really, really good numbers before. Like I've seen people hit millions of views, 2 millions of views on different platforms and stuff like that. And your following doesn't have to have a direct connotation to your video. Just because your video does well doesn't mean that people want to follow you. That doesn't mean that. Like, okay, you did well, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have people like being active. It can just be, oh, I saw the video, right now it's being favored by the Explore page, that's it. Not only did the video blow up, but the video caused me to gain 6,000 followers in just 72 hours, right? So that's just the beginning. So I asked for an abundance of favor, prosperity over my business. I searched every single word. When I wrote this down, I said, well, what is prosperity? Because I'd be sitting over here saying it sometimes. I want prosperity, but what does it mean? Prosperity is the state of being prosperous, and prosperous means to be successful in material terms, flourishing financially, bringing wealth and success. I asked for wealth and success over my business. Creativity, innovation, is something new. Kid y'all not. When I tell you my phone I would have never thought people wanted to flip over someone so bad. Let me tell you how good the Lord is. This whole season, everything has been so intentional. Remember after digital marketing, I told you, I kind of sat down. I was like, okay, but what am I doing though? Like I can make money with my hands. That's clear. But if I'm not doing digital marketing, what am I supposed to do? And it started off with, well, what do you like to do? And I said, I like to do flip over sewings. It just so happens to be that this summer, that was the style of the summer. Flip over sewings were the style of the summer. Everybody was getting a flip over. Whether it was me doing a flip over sewing, wherever you was, everybody was raving about it on TikTok. They were talking about like, oh my gosh, it's the best style ever because you can just flip it over, da da da. But nobody was doing flip over sewing specifically like me, where you get to put it up in a high ponytail, up half down, this big natural curly hair. You're doing a texture match. No one was doing that. The fact that flip over sewings were already in such a crazy demand and I was the face of it, I'm not trying to be funny, nor am I trying to be cocky. I believe that this year, 2024, that when flip over sewings were viral, I was the face of it. I'm so serious when I say that. If we were to put all the flip over sewings in a category and we got to mine, you have a flip over sewing that gives you 5 styles in one, as well as a texture match with raw quality hair extensions. My flip over sewings came with wine for their services, a neck massage, shampoo. I'm just being straight up with you. From July, I was kind of wondering, I was like, am I gonna drop the bag? Like, okay, was this just like a breath of fresh air to me? But what is this like? Is this a consistent thing? Y'all, do y'all know my first time I opened up my booking? When I opened up my bookings for August, because I opened up my bookings for August in July, I think I was booking like an hour, if I'm not mistaken, which I had never been booked out, fully booked, ever in my life. I had never been fully booked. My schedule was fully booked. Mind you, I had just decided to start opening up my books in June. So I'm gonna start doing this whole, open up my books thing, like kind of make this like a thing, everybody come together and like you get to see, you get to pick your time slot, just kind of give this like anticipation. I just decided to make that decision the month before. Do you see how intentional God has been? Because he's given this to me. I did that, y'all. My bookings went bonkers. Bonkers. When I opened up my bookings for September, because we're in October now, from August, I was booked out, I believe it went down to about 30 minutes. And this month, when I opened up my bookings last month in September for October, I was booked out in 10 minutes. To the point where people said, no way. I honestly feel like I'm living in this abundance of favor because I was really curious to see if my content was going to continue to do well. So I posted another video and the video hit 1.6 million views. And I have another video right now that's at 931,000 views. I have another video right now that's at 313,000 views. Like, my content is growing. 250,000 views, 556,000 views, 100,000 views. I want you guys to know that I had never in my life experienced anything like this. It is the first time in my life that I've ever been put in front of this many people, and I have this much attention on me, on my business. I have this demand for my business. I have this increase in my business. I've never had this, but this year is just a very different blessing. I feel like the speed, like the speed of what happened from July to October is so surreal. So I was just showing you guys today that I was at 41.5K and I'm at 41.6K. So within a day, I've gained like 100 followers. So it's just like, just to see that my business is growing so much and that there's so much attention on my business. It's just, y'all, it's such a real testimony, because it's like, I kind of realized that scripture says that God will give you the desires of your heart. And when I can think back at the desire of me being in this position, like even with my hair extension business and me hitting over $45,000 in sales within my first 3 months, is crazy. Because younger me, the same girl who stopped and started and stopped and started, the same girl who had the dream to be this person, even though I had moved on in my life and I started to entertain the thoughts of other things and it wasn't a big focal point for me, God still gave me the desire of my heart. You understand what I'm saying? Like, yes, I was young. Yes, I felt like I wanted this almost 10 years ago in my life. I'm just now experiencing the benefits, the milk and the honey of what happened or what was desired when I was a child. So there's no timeline for your desires. It doesn't mean that you have to, get this right now in this moment. You can think of something that you wanted as a child and be living in that. Oh, it just feels like, seriously, like I am living in my answered prayers. It's so much deeper than just, oh, I blew up online. Like, it's so much deeper than that. It's so much deeper than, oh, I'm booked. It's so much deeper than that, because you have to understand, I've been doing hair for 4 years. I started doing hair in 2020. It's 2024. And I wanted to give up on hair so many different times. I wanted to leave it alone because it wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't giving me the response that I felt like I deserved. But I wasn't in position to receive it just yet. It's like what I wanted, God gave me so quickly, and it happened overnight. Like, that favor that the Lord, like the favor of the Lord, there's no business plan, there's no strategy, there's no game plan, there's no nothing that can outweigh the favor of the Lord. God will do things for you that man just simply cannot do. God will put you in front of people that you would have never thought you would be in front of. God will change the trajectory of your life overnight. You could go to sleep one person and wake up a whole different person because the favor of the Lord is on you. And I feel like I prayed for that favor. Even now in October 2024, I'm sitting here and I'm like, I actually can do what I wanted to do. I was thinking about my life in January and I was feeling flustered about my current situation and being like, what's going on? What's the point? What am I actually doing here? Like, what's actually happening for me? I was flustered because the desire of me even wanting to like move out and have my own apartment and just have this luxurious space and this nice car wasn't even something I could have thought of. I couldn't have even entertained the thought of it, because I was nowhere near in the position to do that. It's impossible. And it's like, now I'm in a position where right now I can say, if I consecutively continue to move in this direction, continue to trust into the Lord and stay focused on what God has given me, it's possible. Like, within the next 6 months, I can have not just any apartment, but my dream. Do you understand what I'm saying? In January, I was flustered because I'm like, how is this going to become a reality? It's a reality. I talk about how I just redid my salon suite. And I haven't really shared much of this, which is why I have to start making content, because y'all, I be sitting on so much stuff. Like, I be sitting on too much. I just redid my salon suite. I said, okay, it's time for a nice little revamp. Literally last year on this day, my salon was like completely different. I had a whole different aesthetic. It was like this pink and black type of look. And I kind of realized that I was going for more grown, sexy. And I was like, let me change my space. Let me make my space look very different. And I redid my salon, right? I literally just I basically did a wall in my salon. And all different types of stuff. I'll put some pictures and videos somewhere in here. I did a wall, gave it this new little sense of style to it. And then a couple months later, I was like, let me really lock in. And I really started to look at my space and say, well, what can I really do? How can I really create this as a set? And I had just redid my salon. So around the same time that I had just redid my salon, my mom is coming with me and, she's helping me with my salon and stuff like that. And there was this double suite that we would have to walk past every single time to get to my suite. And my mom would look at it, stretch out her arms, and pray over it. The girl who was inside of that suite was moving out because she just opened up her entire salon suite building, right? And I remember going to the receptionist being like, so what's tea? She's moving, she announced that she has her own building soon. So what is this looking like? She's like, well, from what I know, she said that she's not gonna leave. And I was like, okay, hey, cool, whatever. I just kept doing my thing. I said, you know what, God, I'm grateful for where I am. You know, I would love to have more space because I know what I want to do in this space. I know how I want to cater in this space. But you know what, I'm cool where I'm at because I'm cool where I'm at. Just redid it, it's cool, it's whatever. My business is growing in this space. I went viral in this space. So if this is where I'm supposed to be, this is where I'm supposed to be. And I just left it to the Lord. But every time my mama came there, she stretched out her hands and she prayed over the suite. And I would look at the suite and I would think to myself like, it would be really nice to have it because it's bigger. I can do so much more in this space. Fast forward, she comes to, mind you, I had kept telling my receptionist, like, I was like, listen, if you get any insight on this suite, let me be the first to know. That's what I told her. So you get any insight on this suite, let me be the first to know. She was like, well, do you know something that I don't? I said, no, I don't know anything, but you would know before me. And when you find out, let me know. That's what I told her. I was pressing her about this for at least like 3 weeks before the news came out. 3 weeks before the news came out, I'm pressing her about it. Like any chance that I get to kind of make it known that I want this suite, I'm making it known that I want this suite because me and the receptionist, we cool. That's my girl. She comes to my suite one day while I'm doing my client's hair and she said, you still want it? And I was like, what are you talking about? I was so confused. I was like, still want one? I'm like, I order food? Because at my suite, sometimes the door dashers will come to the front desk and I'm like, I still want what? She was like, the double. I said, what? What are these words that I'm hearing right now? I said, what's going on? At this point, we speaking all. I'm like, what? She was like, you still want it? Because she'll be moving out. Basically, I think she said she's moving out the next day. Huh? So when she told me that, I literally had to like kind of go squeal in the bathroom. I had to like leave. I said, give me one second. I need to go squeal real quick. I just literally told her I said, I need to go squeal in the bathroom and pray because I am so grateful right now that this opportunity has been presented to me. And I just upgraded this week, but it goes to show that God says that you need more. I remember going to sit down and talk to her about it. And I was like, so what's going on? And she was like, I just remember you saying that you want it. Mind you, this was kind of like a battle. There was about 4 or 5 different people who actually wanted to have this salon suite, but the suite already had my name on it. I can't even help it for nobody. You know what I'm saying? This is just what it was supposed to be for me. So that has happened. I have upgraded me a brand new suite in the same location. I absolutely love the building that I work at because it's just it's so nice. It's so convenient. It's not too far from the city. And my ideal client would love to come to this space. Like my ideal client respects this place. Like I have a receptionist. She's very sweet. She's very kind. And what I also love about my suite is that the receptionist is a woman of God. So she's always playing like gospel music. It's just very peaceful. It just looks really nice. Like I work in a brand new building. Like this building was built in 2022 and I was the very first tenant inside of my original suite, and like even the suite that I'm in right now, it's only been like one other person who was in there, so it's still incredibly new. That has been an amazing thing for my business because I wanted a place that would allow me to cater to multiple like clients at once. Like if I have a maintenance appointment, she can be under the dryer in her own little world and I still have space to cater to whoever hair I'm doing at the time. Recently I got $10,000 worth of hair inventory and just creating the content and just everything that really comes with it is just so surreal to me because it's like, wow, look at me. Like look at the demand to the point where I have people wanting this so much so that I am now ordering $10,000 worth of hair. I just had to take the time to just really brag on God in this season. And I felt like I couldn't even start off my YouTube journey as strong as I want to without giving acknowledgement to him for what he is doing in my life currently. It would be disingenuous to the testimony. Like it would be disingenuous to the story. Like I believe that it's very important for us to talk about the goodness of God in any aspect of our lives. If you are living in an answered prayer in your life, you are a person who has, thought of something and wants now living in it. It's something to boast about. It's something to talk about. It's something to say like, God, you knew where I was. You met me at my point of need and you gave me more than what I could have even asked, thought of, or imagined. It's something to talk about. And I absolutely need to do this today. Today, I told you guys I have 2 meetings. Like just the fact that my life is starting to be like a literal meeting. Like, oh, I have a meeting today. What am I talking about? Like today I met with my content management firm. which I think is just absolutely epic. The elevators, I said, what have I actually got myself into that a couple months ago this wasn't a thought, and in my reality I'm pulling up to this spot. The Lord is just so faithful, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to just really brag on his name, to really just boast and say my God really is that God. My dad really is that dad. He really does his big one when he do his big one or whatever, and I really wanted his favorite daughters. Like, I'm just being super duper honest. Like, I mean, he's just doing things for me that genuinely, that there is no man who could have done it for me. Like, why are people from South Africa talking about wanting to fly in to get their hair done? Why would that even be a conversation? Why do I have people flying in from Alaska getting their hair done? Why are you flying in from Alaska? Why are you flying in from Miami? Why are you flying in from Houston? Why are you driving from Virginia? Why are you flying in from Maryland? Like, this is a reality. I have people flying in to get their hair done by me. I don't even think I said that in this testimony. I have people flying in to get their hair done by me. I'm doing a sew-in at the end of the day. So never ever in my days have seen that type of response. Like, okay, cool. The numbers online, the followers, the views, cool, you're booked. But when someone decides to, I can show y'all right now, I want to confirm my date. I'm thinking the 5th or the 6th. However, I'm looking at flight prices to confirm, because she wants to fly in to get her hair done. Like, that's what I'm talking about right now. That's what I mean when I said the favor of the Lord, that there's nothing that a man could have done to get that type of response. I'm just being super honest with you. What's causing these people to make this decision? Like, not just one person, but why is the girl who hair I do in California, it's like, hey girl, do you have any appointments available this month? I want to come in and get, again, that would be her 3rd time coming and getting her hair done by me. She lives in California, Oakland, California. I live in Atlanta. Y'all get what I'm saying? Like, what's going on? It gets to a point where you can't just think that this is by your efforts or by your hands. You have to really sit down and say, like, oh, this is the big God that they be talking about on IG and TikTok and YouTube. I know he hears me. Like, I sit here and I talk to God about all kinds of stuff. Y'all, I can feel it in my heart that this next season of my life is just gonna be things that it's just like the prayers are already answered. Do y'all understand? Prayers are actually already answered. You just have to get there. Just like the restaurant is already there, you just gotta drive to it. The food technically already cooked. If you go to Chipotle, the food is already cooked, ready to go. It's just waiting for your arrival to put the food inside the bowl. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's exactly how it is with God. It's already done. We just waiting for you to pull up to the spot. I feel like the reason why this year has been a supernatural speed, really, I can't really say that it's really my efforts. I can't really say it's anything that I've done too intentionally, but I did start paying my tithes. I did say that, God, you gonna get this 10% of what you've given me 100% of. I've been very intentional about my tithes. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I did surrender my will to his will. I said, God, your way, not my way. I was saying that all last year. Your way, not my way. Your way, not my way. Your way, not my way. All last year, I swear. I was saying that all last year. And I feel like me just even starting to accept that I would much rather him be in control and letting go of what I wanted was the beginning of it all. If we're being honest. If we can meet me around November 2023, your way, not my way, your will, not my will. Because what I want for me is sometimes based off what I can physically see. And I don't understand exactly what I need, because you're seeing things on a whole deeper level. You sit high in the heavens and you look down on the earth as it's your footstool. Think of a footstool, something that's like you just kick your feet up and you vibe out. Your head is so much higher than a footstool. God is up high in the heavens. So you have this understanding of my life that I just simply don't. Because my book was already written. You said that you knew me before I was in my mother's womb, meaning you knew my problems before they existed. You knew my desires because you're the one who gave them to me. I love how I had to be in this moment of silence, and I had to be in this moment where everything stopped for him to put me where he needed me to be. But even when I thought he was redirecting my path to a whole new lane, he was just getting me educated to swing me right back over here. It's like we did a good little U-turn. I ain't gonna lie. It's like we pulled up to a spot. I'm like, oh, this is the spot. He like, no, baby, we going back this way. I just need you to grab some information from over here real quick. I need you to get real educated about digital marketing. I need you to understand how to work online. I just need you to get it. So when I took the course, I didn't even go through every single part of that course. I went through the IG part, the TikTok part, and the email marketing part. I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't go through all 200 videos. I said, let me see what I need. Okay, cool. Implement. So let's just do a little recap. We have clients flying in from Alaska, from California, from Miami, from Houston to get their hair done. I gained over 36,000 followers on Instagram. I have videos that have millions of views in real life. My page has millions of views every single 30 days. Right now, let's go to my page. Literally, it says 1 million views in the last 30 days. Like, 1 million views in the last 30 days. And you know what I also pray for? I said, Lord God, let this become my norm. When I first started to like do really, really well online, I said, let this become my norm. I just believe that in this season, you know, follow the Lord. Let the Lord lead you. Let God take you where he wants to take you, and be willing to get in the car and go. Be willing to open the door. Be willing to put your seatbelt on. Be willing to trust that he's going to bring you to where you need to be. Be willing to know that you don't have everything figured out, and understand that you simply just don't know what's to come. You are taking this day by day. You only know what has happened and what is happening. You don't understand your future, but God has a very clear understanding of where he wants you to be and where he wants to take you. So just let go of the attachment to what you want for you, and become very understanding that what God wants for you is better than what you want for you. And sometimes it's the exact same thing when you're aligned with his will. A lot of people are soul searching, and they're looking for so many different types of things and trying to figure things out on their own. You don't have to go through this life alone. Basically, none of the things that I have experienced within the past 90 days of my life was alone. This was all with God. He put the 7 million eyes on my business. He put the booked in 3 minutes. He put the $10,000 in my pocket earlier this year. Like, this was all him. And if I would have gotten my own way and I would have had to drive myself and start my own car, I wouldn't have, first of all, knew where I was going. Second of all, any type of issue that would have came about, I would have been like, let me turn around, let me go home. I ain't got time for all that. See, when issues even come my way, I just be like, was that a pothole? From the passenger seat, like the car, like I don't even, actually, matter of fact, I don't even ask too many questions. I'm convinced that you got this under control. The Lord is indeed faithful. He loves you very, very much. Jesus loves you very, very much. I believe that anybody who's watching this video right now is not watching this video in coincidence, but you are watching this video with purpose and intention, that it popped up on your page or whatever made you click it. It's for a reason. God definitely wants you to understand that following him is the best, like the best guidance ever. He gives you your own unique plan. God has created a whole new lane for me, and he's continuing to do that. He's aligning me with people that are really great. And I want you guys to also start to pray for your destiny helpers. To pray for those who are going to align you with where you're supposed to be, who's going to come in and things are going to make sense. So make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Listen, you want to be a part of the crew. I'm telling you, this is just where it's at. I want to take you guys along this journey with me called life. Really get into really taking front row seats into what it's like to be Miss Andre Monet. I want to take you guys on everything. I want to really be very intentional about that. And when you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel, it really just makes me feel so good and motivated to even do this even more so, y'all. So make sure you guys subscribe, and I shall see y'all soon. Bye.